The Carton to Garden project was the perfect culmination of learning from our previous weeks of exploration that would allow students to have a powerful and meaningful hands-on experience and to make connections with their peers, something that's really difficult to achieve with hybrid and distance learning. This project tested students' abilities to work together as a team, to communicate across the various pods, and ultimately to be creative and innovative. So students planted their milk cartons with both seeds and cuttings to create their botanical oasis. We were so fortunate to have the support of a locally owned greenhouse, Claussen's Florist and Greenhouse, who donated all of our soil, rooting powder, and 3 mother plants for students to be able to take cuttings from and to learn how to transplant. So ultimately, our students' goal was to create a collaborative indoor tranquility garden where they could relax, unwind, be present, and just enjoy each other's company while creating something that could be mobile and shift and change if and likely as needed.
My pod work on the creative and decorative aspect of the project. They did this by painting milk cartons and creating stained glass pieces out of wax paper and tissue paper, which we could then decorate our tranquility garden with. They also made miniature clay animals that then lived within all of the plants. They also learned the importance of recycling. So we managed to give a single-use item, so the milk carton, a second life, and that's a very important lesson for them because they were really interested in how to care for our planet. And recycling is one way that they can do that.
The first thing we did on day one, come up with a brainstorm list of different ideas we had, a list of different materials that we could use, knowing that we would need to do a lot of repurposing.
We had paint, milk cartons, I heard hot glue, leaves, sticks.
The kids created different design ideas, so they were able to draw whatever they were visualizing, and we then voted as a group on which ideas we wanted to focus on for our project. Painting the milk cartons, the kids were really competitive about this. And then a lot of the younger students were really interested in counting all of the milk cartons once they were painted.
My pod focused on the design element of the project. We looked at what makes a good garden. We looked at the engineering process. We all made our own design of what we thought would best fit our space. I wanted to let my pod's imaginations drive the idea for the design. So we came up with a materials list, we came up with our designs, and we imagined what our garden would look like and what we needed to do to achieve it.
Then moving on to our second day, we focused a lot more on construction. So we filled the milk cartons with soil, we learned about different plants.
My students also helped with putting soil in all of the planters, as well as planting seeds and small plants. They were really interested in learning about the life cycle of the plant, as well as how to care for a plant. So the nutritional aspects of soil, and then how a plant needs water and sunlight and what the plant does with that.
Then we actually formed a bit of an assembly line and really focused on teamwork to get the rest of the project done. So that involved having some students cut strings, some tying, and some hanging them onto our centerpiece, which was our drying rack. And then finally, we had the older students working on making our 2 designs, which was our peace sign and then also our Black Lives Matter, BLM. The students really felt strongly about putting this up because across the Burlington school districts, a Black Lives Matter flag has been raised at all of the schools, and they felt really strongly about bringing that into our classroom as well. So the older students had hot glue guns and they were working on putting those pieces together, while the younger students were focusing on the placement of our milk crates and making sure they had a platform to put those pieces on. And then the last piece of our construction was transporting all of our created pieces from our classroom into the other one, in which we were combining all of the pieces to make our lovely garden.
It's a very stressful time for the students having to deal with COVID, so we wanted to give them a chance to create a space for themselves which was tranquil and could give them comfort.
My students absolutely loved the Carton to Garden project from start to finish. They were super engaged right from the beginning.
So in the event of a complete shutdown and a return to fully remote learning, we wanted to ensure that our project was something that wouldn't be abandoned on a windowsill. So we made it fully dismantleable and able to be sent home with students. So the idea is that if we were to shut down, our kids can bring a couple of different milk cartons full of plants home with them to be used and cared for in their environment, and maybe even to be used as teaching tools.